Gopijana-vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira vanachari Yamunatira vanachari Jaya Radha-madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha-madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana-vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana-vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatira vanachari Yamunatira vanachari Jaya Radha-madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha-madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privrajacacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad Bhagavatam Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 21, texts 52 through 54. Tadaiva setavaḥ sarve varṇāśrama-nibandhanāḥ bhagavad-racitā rajan, bhidyeran bata dasyubhiḥ, tadaiva setavaḥ sarve, varṇāśrama-nibandhanāḥ, bhagavad-racitā rajan, bhidyeran bata dasyubhiḥ. Vaishnavas. Na, not. Yadā, when. Ratham, the chariot. Āsthāya, having mounted. Jaitraṁ, victorious. Maṇi, of jewels. Gaṇa, with clusters. Arpitam, bedecked. Visphūrjac, twanging. Caṇḍa, a fearful sound just to punish the criminals. Kodaṇḍo, bow. Rathena, by the presence of such a chariot. Trāsayann, threatening. Aghān, all the culprits. Sva-sainya, of your soldiers. Caraṇa, by the feet. Kṣuṇṇaṁ, trampled. Vepayan, causing to tremble. Maṇḍalaṁ, the globe. Bhuvaḥ, of the earth. Vikarṣan, leading. Bṛhatīṁ, huge. Senāṁ, army. Paryaṭasy, you roam about. Aṁśumān, the brilliant sun. Eva, like. Tada, then. Eva, certainly. Setavaḥ, religious codes. Sarve, all. Varṇa, of varnas. Ashrama, of ashramas. Nibandhanāḥ, obligations. Bhagavat, by the Lord. Racitā, created. Rajan, O king. Bhidyeran, they will be broken. Bata, alas. Dasyubhiḥ, by rogues. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. If you did not mount your victorious jeweled chariot, whose mere presence threatens culprits, if you did not produce fierce sounds by the twanging of your bow, and if you did not roam about the world like the brilliant sun, leading a huge army whose trampling feet caused the globe of the earth to tremble, then all the moral laws governing the varnas and ashramas created by the Lord Himself will be broken by the rogues and rascals. Purport. It is the duty of a reasonable king, of a responsible king, to protect the social and spiritual orders in human society. The spiritual orders are divided into 4 ashramas: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. And the social orders, according to work and qualification, are made up of the brahmanas, the kshatriyas, the vaishyas, and the shudras. These social orders, according to the different grades of work and qualification, are described in Bhagavad-gītā. Unfortunately, for want of proper protection by responsible kings, the system of social and spiritual orders has now become a hereditary caste system. But this is not the actual system. Human society means that society which is making progress toward spiritual realization. The most advanced human society was known as Arya. Arya refers to those who are advancing. So the question is, which society is advancing? Advancement does not mean creating material necessities unnecessarily, and thus wasting human energy in aggravation over so-called material comforts. Real advancement is advancement towards spiritual realization, and the community which acted toward this end was known as the Aryan civilization. The intelligent men, the brahmanas, as exemplified by Kardama Muni, were engaged in advancing the spiritual cause, and kshatriyas like Emperor Swayambhuva used to rule the country and ensure that all facilities for spiritual realization were nicely provided. It is the duty of the king to travel all over the country and see that everything is in order. Indian civilization, on the basis of the 4 varnas and ashramas, deteriorated because of her dependency on foreigners, or those who did not follow the civilization of varṇāśrama. Thus, the varṇāśrama system has now been degraded into the caste system. The institution of 4 varnas and 4 ashramas is confirmed herewith to be bhagavad-racitā, which means designed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad-gītā, this is also confirmed. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam. The Lord says that the institution of 4 varnas and 4 ashramas is created by me. Anything created by the Lord cannot be closed or covered. The divisions of varnas and ashramas will continue to exist, either in their original form or in degraded form. But because they are created by the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they cannot be extinguished. They are like the sun, a creation of God, and therefore will remain, either covered by clouds or in a clear sky. The sun will continue to exist. Similarly, when the varṇāśrama system becomes degraded, it appears as a hereditary caste system. But in every society, there is an intelligent class of men, a martial class, a mercantile class, and a laborer class. When they are regulated for cooperation among communities according to the Vedic principles, then there is peace and spiritual advancement. But when there is hatred and malpractice and mutual mistrust in the caste system, the whole system becomes degraded, and as stated herein, it creates a deplorable state. At the present moment, the entire world is in this deplorable condition because of giving rights to so many interests. This is due to the degradation of the four castes of varnas and ashramas. If you did not mount your victorious jeweled chariot, whose mere presence threatens culprits, if you did not produce fierce sounds by the twanging of your bow, and if you did not roam about the world like the brilliant sun of the earth to tremble, then all the moral laws governing the varnas and ashramas created by the Lord himself will be broken by the rogues and rascals. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum vangayati girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Gurun Nitharinam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we have very vivid description of a military power which threatens the culprits, of a huge army which caused the globe of the earth to tremble. And if you notice, this is done by a person who follows a vow of non-violence, and he has quite different, if not opposite, lifestyle and mood. Usually we expect such a description of huge army, military power to be, and it's done with kind of a happy mood, with relish, I would say. Usually we expect that this kind of reaction and description is made by military person, somebody who has similar lifestyle. Here we have ascetic who lives in the forest, following spiritual discipline, having very simple life. Kardama Muni, when he saw the emperor and the huge army, he didn't complain. He could have mentioned all these nice things about the army, but with a negative mood. He could have said, well, I came here just because I wanted to avoid people like you, disturbing the peace, making so much noise, you bringing all this huge army. I tried to do my spiritual practice in a peaceful environment. And this is what is expected normally in Kali Yuga, when people have difficulties appreciating others. If somebody is little different from us, from our family circle, from our community, from our tribe, then people usually become very suspicious. They feel threatened by the difference. They think that this is something strange, something weird. Quite often they think this is something evil. And if it's evil, then it has to be exterminated. So this is the condition of Kali Yuga, where people are deeply entrenched in their own ways. Atmavan manyate jagat. And it is necessarily to be like this, because materialistic people, they lack what Prabhupada calls broad-mindedness. They are not broad-minded. They are necessarily narrow-minded. And that means They want to enjoy the material energy separately from Krishna, but there is only that much resources. The resources are limited. So then they are automatically competitors. They have to fight. Prabhupada says like cats and dogs for the limited resources. And Srila Prabhupada gives the example when the criminals, when the dacoits, they steal something and they go to a solitary place and then they declare, okay, now we want to divide what we have stolen, divide it honestly. Srila Prabhupada says, there is no honesty, there is no honor, there is no good quality amongst criminals. Therefore, Bhagavatam says, rathena sati dhavato bahi. There is no good qualities in a person who is non-devotee. There might be an appearance of good qualities, just because, according to the karma of the person, right now is the moment when the sattva guna or semblance of sattva guna predominates. But come by in about 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years, then this sattva guna will inevitably turn into rajas and then tamas. The real good qualities are propriety of the Lord. He is the owner of everything. So only He can give real good qualities. So then, to appreciate others, we require spiritual knowledge. And one of the descriptions of the definitions of Krishna consciousness given in 4th canto is that one sees the world, one sees the universe the way Krishna sees the universe. And this is the common ground, the point of reference that is missing in the materialistic society, which is provided only by the mercy of the Lord and the devotees. Here we have the example of great personalities who are very different in their lifestyle, and they still sincerely appreciate one another, each other, because they see the common goal, which is to please the Lord. Kardama Muni, he sees that this king, this emperor, he has come here with his huge army just to please the Lord. This is his goal. This is his way, his nature, and he engages his nature in service of the Lord. And in this way he ensures that all of us, Brahmanas, Vaishyas, Shudras, everybody, can follow peacefully our duties. Similar point was made by Shumika Rishi in 1st canto, when he understood that his unexperienced son has unnecessarily cursed the emperor Parikshit Maharaj. Shumika Rishi was mortified, and then he told his son, my dear son, because you are unexperienced, you have given severe punishment for very mild, very small discrepancy, if any, because we know this was ultimately the arrangement of the Lord. Then he told him, we Brahmanas can perform our duties only because there is a strong king. If there is no strong king who protects us from all the miscreants, then we will be lost and the whole society will go to hell. We see in Ramayana how the sages from different places, but what comes to mind from the Janasthana forest, they complained to Lord Ramachandra about the Rakshasas. The Rakshasas were disturbing them. They were literally eating the flesh of the sages. Of course, it mentions that only those sages who were impure, they had some impurity. They had access only to those. Still, the sages were very disturbed. And they told the Lord, my dear Lord, we could actually deal with this situation ourselves. We have accumulated so much power by our austerities, but we would rather not use this to kill these Rakshasas. So this is your duty, please protect us. And the Lord he replied saying that I'm really sorry that you had to approach me and take shelter of me. I actually have to take shelter of you. I should have taken care of this without you telling me and requesting for my support. And even prior to that, when Vishvamitra Muni came to King Dasharatha and he requested that Rama and Lakshman come with him to kill Maricha, the unfamous Maricha Rakshasa, who later on, when you read his reply to Ravana's idea that he becomes a golden deer and he allures Ramachandra, etc. When you read his reply, he became almost devotee. He became a Rakshasa ascetic. He was controlling his senses, living in the forest in a peaceful ashrama. And then when he heard about Ramachandra, he was very scared. He told Ravana, wherever I go in this forest, I see only Rama. I'm so afraid, because he had 2 encounters with the Lord, and the Lord spared his life. But Marich was very scared. So, although the Vishwamitra could have taken care of the situation, he requested the Kshatriyas to help, because this is their duty. So this is possible, this mutual appreciation and understanding and cooperation is possible only when we understand our common goal. When we understand that the human society is just like the human body, and there is a head, there is hands, stomach, legs, and they're supposed to work together with mutual appreciation and cooperation. The head understands that it cannot protect itself, unless, of course, you use this, what is called the Liverpool kiss, like in the action movies. But usually the hands protect, right? That's why they have these stance in the martial arts. And the hands, they understand that we cannot speak, we cannot eat, we depend on the head. Here in this case, and this wonderful example, we see Brahmana and Kshatriya, they sincerely appreciate one another, each other, and then so much so that one of them, the emperor, he comes to offer his daughter, dear daughter, to the sage as a wife. Bhagavatam, I think, 3rd canto in Kapila Shiksha, it describes the daughter is especially dear to the father. So this is very precious object. It's not object, it's a person. So if you want to entrust this beloved daughter to a person, you make sure that this, you must appreciate this person sincerely. Also we see Manu, he is the lawgiver of mankind. He follows his own instructions. He describes in the Manu Smriti how one should perform these duties, giving the daughter in charity to a noble, qualified person. And then he does it himself. It's not just a talk. He walks the talk, literally. Another point here is that if you want peace, you have to prepare for war. Therefore, you see, Kardama Muni describes the situation. Huge army, fierce sounds. The very presence of this army threatens the miscreants. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada mentioned this in many times, the government, the state should be very strong. Otherwise, all these criminals, they will take advantage. Some people in the first world, lately, because they're uninformed and they don't have faith in the Vedic wisdom, they try some other approaches. For example, somewhere in the 70s in the US, they thought that we can bring down the criminal activity by just being kind to the criminals. Let's not punish them so severely. I mean, they turn out to be bad people because we treated them in a bad way. That was the logic. We were too harsh with them. We were too strong. I'm sure, this was the... I just feel like, I'm quite convinced that if we treat them in a better way, they will miraculously, somehow or other, they will change their mind and they'll become good persons. So they tried this. It didn't work out. Just the opposite. The crime rate increased. Of course, these people, when they're confronted with reality, they will always find their way to sneak away. They're very sneaky. And they never accept. But we know they are wrong, because here we see the example of the real kings, how they rule the citizens, the pragya, and they're very strong. If you are kind and good to the inappropriate, to the improper audience, they will just take advantage of this. That's how it works. Of course, the government should take all the care to provide education, to use what is called soft power, to convince people this is the law and you have to follow it because it will be good for you. But there is always certain group of society, it doesn't work this way. They just don't seem to understand when you speak nicely to them. In Bhagavad-gita, in a section where Krishna describes the greatest enemy of the soul, which is lust. Jnani no nitya vairina. This is the eternal enemy of the soul. Soul is called Jnani. That means knowledge. He has knowledge. Jnani no nitya vairina is kama rupena kauntya dushpurana nalamecha. So the greatest enemy is lust. And in the commentaries, the acharyas explain that specifically this enemy, you can just forget about all other measurements. You know, there are 4 types of ways how to curb the enemy according to the Smriti. First, you try to appease. Why are you creating so much trouble? Let's be friends. Then if this doesn't work, you offer him a very lucrative post, money. Then if this doesn't work, you try to create dissension in his camp through your spies. And then if this doesn't work, then argumentum ad baculum. So Baladevi Vibhushan says, you just forget about the first 3. When dealing with lust, you have to proceed directly to the 4th one. The lust is such a formidable enemy that it won't be impressed by the first 3. Of course, we know we cannot conquer over lust. This is only possible by the mercy of the Lord. But this is the principle. So also there is certain kind of people, they understand only by force. They have to be forced to follow the law. And therefore there is law enforcement, dharmic law enforcement. So Brahmanas are happy to see strong kings because they know this is for the benefit of the whole human society. And the Vedas, they have 2 main departments of knowledge. One is called Paravidya, which means transcendental knowledge, knowledge about the soul, about spiritual world, about God, devotional service. And what is called Aparavidya, knowledge about how to manipulate and engage the material energy in service of the Lord. So these are the 2 main departments of knowledge. And we hear the transcendental knowledge, the transcendental sound, and some fortunate people amongst us, they are able to surrender on the spot, just like Maharaja Katvanga, he surrendered immediately, or the gopis, or the wives of the brahmanas. There are examples like this, rare, but it happens, it is possible. However, most of us, we are not ready to surrender at once. So that means we have to go through purification. We have to live in this world. We have to engage with the material energy in a proper pious way, in a Krishna conscious way. And for all of us, there are given rules how to do that. So these rules are known as varṇāśrama. In Srimad Bhagavad-gita, in the 3rd chapter, Krishna says, Yastvatmaratir eva syat atma triptascha manava atmani eva cha santushtas tasya karyam na vidyate. For those who find pleasure only in the self, santushta, they are satisfied just in the self. They don't need external material sources of so-called happiness to nourish them. For them, and for them only, tasya karyam na vidyate, they don't have any more duties. Why? Because they have attained the goal of varṇāśrama, the goal of following material duties. Also in Bhagavatam, in 11th canto, it is stated that until one is not satiated with materialistic activities, then, and until one doesn't have acquired firm faith in Shravanam Kirtanam, basically the same thing, the ordinary Vedic injunctions, which means varṇāśrama. Varṇāśrama teaches us how to live our life as human beings. And being human being requires certain behaviors under certain standard, which is easier to engage in devotional service. It is just more convenient to be engaged in Krishna Bhakti. That's all. Srila Prabhupada calls it stepping stone for spiritual realization. It is not the ultimate goal, but it is necessary because it is the Krishna's social system which keeps us in the mode of goodness, at least. So there are rules how to, here we see example, how you get your daughter married, what is the standard, the ideal standard. Of course there are also some other options you can use. There are 8 types of marriages. Some of them are recommended for humans and devotees, some are not. How do you do this? How do you have your family life together? What are the positions, the natural positions that you can take in this system according to your own inclination? How to work in these positions? How to develop the proper mood? Varṇāśrama is just the human system of interaction. How do you have proper, satisfying human interaction? And what are the duties that you have to follow in order to have these proper human interactions? Because relationship is possible only when you follow duty properly. Otherwise, it's not human relationships. Because if you don't follow your duty, that means you see other persons as objects of your sense enjoyment. That's what it boils down to. That's what it means. And you just try to exploit them. So real interaction, human relationships begins by understanding your duties, following them, and then on the basis of this you can have interaction, just like in these cases. Otherwise it's an animal society of exploitation and chaos. So there are, some people say the whole world is a stage and we are all actors. Some days ago, Ananda Tirtha Prabhu mentioned in the lecture that Kardama Muni and Swayambhuva Muni, they're playing their roles perfectly. So we are playing roles. Right now I'm playing a role. It's not my original position. You also play a role right now. And we're trying our best to play the role in the best way so that we please the Lord. And then we can attain our real position, which we still don't know. We're not sure. So there is a drama in this material world, and the script is written by the Lord. And there are different positions, and each and every position has script. There are things that you are supposed to say, and also there is the proper mood behind it. So there is the director of the drama. He makes sure that you not only know your words, your script, but you also pronounce it with the proper mood. And people are ready to pay good money. If you go to New York, to Broadway, you see it's quite expensive to watch a good drama. It costs money, and people are happy to pay. And they know it's not real, right? Nobody is under the impression that, okay, this is the real situation. No, they know it's illusion. Still, they're ready to pay. And when we play our drama, our role in the proper way, then when the drama is finished, you get the money because people are happy, get your money, and you go home, and then you can be yourself. So there are different positions, as I said. You have father, mother, guru, disciple, man, woman, etc. And they all have to say certain things. You cannot just say anything. It's not that anything goes. I feel like Jayadvaita Maharaj once he said, I feel inside like a dog, so I may as well start barking. This will spoil the drama. It is not the plan of the Lord that you start barking now, because we have attained this human form of life. So there is a standard. So in this way, varṇāśrama just ensures that we have the proper human experience, and we are peaceful enough so that we can peacefully, as far as possible in the material world, engage in devotional service. And the brahmanas, the kshatriyas, they are supposed to cooperate and protect each other, because on the basis of their cooperation, the whole society will function properly. Here in the beginning of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the very first sentence, it is the duty of a responsible king to protect the social and spiritual orders in human society. So how the king does this, how he protects the social and spiritual orders? By making sure that they follow their duty. Just like the temple president, how he protects the devotees in the temple. Srila Prabhupada said that in every temple we should, all the residents, and he gave a list of duties that all the temple residents they should perform. So the authorities, they have to make sure that everybody follows their duty according to Dharma, because by following our duties, what we advance spiritually, materially, in every possible way. So when varṇāśrama duties, they are given to us, we should understand this is for my benefit and upliftment. We shouldn't think, oh, this is some kind of invasive, it invades my private life, and so many rules, and it's kind of oppressive. I don't want this. This simply means we're not qualified for even for a human level of existence. So we should try to understand it is for my benefit. I should try to understand how to apply it. We shouldn't try to find excuses why it doesn't work in Kali Yuga. If you have noticed, this Kali Yuga became like a joker card. You know, you pull out the joker and you win the game. So often when devotees don't want to do something that they are told to do in Shastra or by the Guru, they say, "Oh, it's Kali Yuga; it doesn't apply." And it always comes about when the proper human standard should be followed. So we're supposed to be intelligent and try to find a way. There is a common saying, if you have a desire, you will find a way. If you don't have a desire, you will find excuses. So many excuses. One of the excuses I have heard is that, oh, it's not possible because you don't have a king in place. Yes, Maybe we cannot establish varṇāśrama in the global society. It's true. Srila Prabhupada also says it here. But it doesn't mean that you cannot try to apply the principles in your own in your own life, because you're the king of your own life, so to speak. We have some minute independence. So why not trying to see what it works, how to apply it? People sometimes when they want to create some machine, simple machine, vacuum cleaner, they go through a process of creating 500 how you call this, attempts, prototypes. It doesn't work, so they try again because they want to make money. They're determined, and the 500th time it works. So why not also try, instead of just discarding the whole thing, because we tried once, twice, and it didn't work. Why just try again and see. Pray to Krishna. At least out of 8 main elements, Srila Prabhupada established 5 of them. We have the 4 ashramas, right? Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. Of course, Vanaprastha is a little underdeveloped yet. And we have the Brahminical Varna, so we have some good basis. Srila Prabhupada did some service for us. So on the basis of this, we can try. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If you have any comments or questions.
Thank you, Prabhu, for that class.
Thank you, Prabhu.
You said something in the beginning of your talk which I focused on, as I don't hear it enough. You said, we should learn how to look at the world, then you said, the universe, the way God sees it. That is very deep and profound, because it's so different from the way we see. And so I really appreciated that comment. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees.